Okay, we've reawakened in Central Yarnum, and I want to go into what reawakening means. The kills that I've made from the last time I played, they're all going to be reset. I think everything gets reset except for bosses when I reawaken. So I'm going to kill all of these guys again. As I mentioned last time, going into the dream and coming back is as if nothing happened. Alright, so one of my notes that was rated fine. I'm gonna go into how notes are left behind, but we're gonna go into this house here again. Just mess with these guys. Let me kill this guy because he's in the way. I like listening to these guys.
We know precisely who it is.
So that guy just said, we know who's at fault, we know precisely who it is. And I think they start talking about the scent. Stench. See, they know I'm here. So I'm gonna kill this guy here. I'm not gonna go on and on about this guy anymore. I am going to take his quicksilver bullets. By the way, the item that was on this character here was a pungent cocktail. Let me show you guys what it does. It's in here. So this guy was carrying one of these. It's a mature blood cocktail that releases a pungent odor when thrown that attracts bloodthirsty beasts. It's a precious tool in sadly short supply in Yarnum. They produce more blood than alcohol, as the former is more intoxicating. The blood is more intoxicating. Something else that I found interesting in this item is that it's mature blood cocktail. I'm not very well versed in blood and all that stuff. In fact, I try to stay away from blood altogether. I'm gonna kill these guys because they're still mouthing off while I talk about mature blood. If I'm not mistaken, mature blood is blood that's it's already rich in like hemoglobins and a bunch of other things that I don't understand, that I don't understand very well, but I know that it's oxygenated and that's what courses through most people is the mature blood. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I hope someone can correct me just in case soon enough before I carry on feeling this way, but I think the item that I picked up off this guy being there it is, the pungent blood cocktail. I think it's just a cocktail made with random people's blood. Why this guy had it, why he had so many of them, was he drinking it, hoping that he was going to be cured of some illness just from drinking it, or was he the one harvesting them? I cannot say, but I found it interesting that this guy that was being watched over very peacefully by this guy had that item with him. So I want to read this again for y'all. When the hunt began, the healing church left us, blocking the great bridge to Cathedral Ward, as old Yarnum burned to the ground that moonlit night. There's a whole lot to go into in this note, I believe, and these notes are just scattered throughout the game. These are system notes. These aren't like the notes that I'm not going into yet, but that is the type of note that was rated fine. Anytime there is a user generated note like this one, you can go in and you can rate it fine or foul. I won't rate it foul, but I mean, you don't really have to be aware of that. But in any case, you can rate user generated notes, and they're created and passed down by these little messengers. But let's go into this guy here real quick, if you don't mind. There we go. When the hunt began, the healing church left us. Before I go further into detail as to what that means, remember those guys were saying, I know that stench and we know who's at fault and all that. The healing church is actually convinced the Yarnumites that the reason why the blood that they are administering to these people is turning people into beasts is because foreigners or outsiders were tainting it. And that's why people were turning into beasts instead of recovering from their common colds from that. So the healing church is not above healing to, or excuse me, they're definitely not above healing, but they are also not above lying to the Yarnamites. So when the hunt began, whichever hunt it was, I guess the very, very first hunt, the healing church left us. It just kind of like shut them out. Blocking the great bridge to the cathedral ward. That's the bridge that I'm headed towards, as old Yarnam burned to the ground that moonlit night. I won't go too much further into detail about that moonlit night specifically, for one, because I don't know everything about it yet, and I may make some missteps or anything like that, but we also don't know what old Yarnam is just yet. I'm going to run into the place at some point, and I'm going to talk about it then. So the healing church left them. The healing church just told the Yarnamites, hey, fend for yourselves, and they closed off the bridge. And since then, the Yarnamites have actually waged a little bit of a war against the healing church. So while the healing church provided them the blood that healed them and made them assholes to any outsider, it's also a faction that they are not happy with. And the closer we get to the healing church, the more you'll see that the Yarnamites are all up in there. I'm gonna throw one of the pungent blood cocktails at these guys, I think. Use. Yeah, look at them go. They are all about it. Damn, those are some bloodthirsty beasts. So now I'm gonna cheese these guys. That's right, Craig. While I'm cheesing these enemies here, I want to talk about... Actually, let's just kill them real fast before I get into that. Ow! Ow! Alright, so what I want to talk about here is Musica Universalis. I think it's music of the spheres, and that's something that I'm not sure if Pythagoras himself indoctrinated, or if he created, or if it's just something that he believed in, but that's generally speaking, it's the concept that the moon, the planets and the moon and the sun are all letting off an inaudible hum, and we can't hear it, but it has something to do with the fact that since they're letting off a noise that we can't hear it, they're actually resonating within themselves sometimes, and so they create these sounds that sometimes even arbitrate the well-being or the harmony of our planet or any given part of the cosmos. Fucker. The reason why the music of the spheres is relevant, and I may or may not go into... actually, before I do that, do you see how this guy dropped shining coins? Let me talk about those now. Where are they? Come on. So various coins that are particularly luminous. There are very few uses for spare change during the hunt, but these will serve as guides through the darkness, or one could save them until the morning if it ever comes. The reason I'm talking about these now and why the brick trolls are dropping them is I think they are also outsiders. I don't think they're from Yharnam either, and they kind of carry them because they're hoping that it will lead them back to wherever it is that they are coming from. In any case, why the music of the spheres is relevant. A lot of Bloodborne uses H.P. Lovecraft lore, and oh man, you guys are all waiting for me here. Shit, fuck. How about you? And so Mr. Lovecraft has taken a very eldritch fuck off, dog. Uh-oh. I'm gonna pop one of these. H.P. Lovecraft has taken a very eldritch angle towards the music of the spheres. He wrote a book called what is it? Oh, what is it called? Oh, The Music of Erich Zahn. And in that book, it's about a musician whom... Shit. Kill this fucker. This guy requires some focus. Fuck, how'd he get me with that? I'm all out of vials. Or full of vials, I should say. So, The Music of Erich Zahn. It's a book about a viola player whom was playing these songs that he didn't want anyone to hear, or he couldn't have anyone play it to him back because apparently the sounds that he was playing was keeping some sort of astral gate closed, or maybe it was keeping it open. It would, either way, he was channeling some of that, and he was able to access or block off or destroy or keep at bay, but he was absolutely interacting with the music of the spheres. And while it was originally described as inaudible to the humans, it's probably audible to something or someone. In any case, this viola player was able to play them in order to keep or hold back or keep open, in one way or another interact with the some other plane of existence or a parallel universe of sorts. But whatever it was he was messing with, it was not good news. So the reason I'm bringing all that up is because we have these bells here. These guys as messengers down here, they're holding a bell, they're ringing it, and they're asking me to summon Father Gascoigne. We'll check back with this summon Father Gascoigne in a second. We jumped over to this character because we have another old hunter bell. As we were able to look at the other bell, the other one said summon Father Gascoigne. This is summon Henriette. Henriette and Gascoigne are old hunters. By that I mean they're hunters that they're not really hunting anymore, or if they are, they're just of the past. Not like me. Modern hunter with saw cleaver. In any case, this is to summon Henriette. Let's go ahead and summon her. So I rang that bell. That's, see, the ringing the old hunter bell, and that's oh, old hunter bell resonates with another. Shit, I didn't think these guys were gonna be here. Henriette, you want to help me? So Henriette has got a sword and a pistol, and she seems to have some sort of hammer with her. Okay, so now she's turned her sword into this big hammer, and then it went back to the sword. She's not really using her pistol. I don't think she... Oh yeah, she'll kill him. Come on, Henriette. I believe in you. There she goes. Use her pistol. Say hello, Henriette. Alright, so... The reason I was talking about... What are you doing with the torch? The reason I was talking about the music of the spheres and the way that H.P. Lovecraft used it and through his literature is that I was able to ring that bell and open up a way to communicate with Henriette or any old hunter. Oh, there's an item up there. I hope I remember to grab it. So this was what allowed us to bridge the gap and have Henriette come help me fight some peeps. Henriette cannot climb ladders, it looks like. I think she's coming now. What's in this body? Numbing mist. Ooh, let's go into that. Throw to create a mist cloud that numbs a hunter's life essence and prevents restoration of HP. Said to be used by the blood hunters of Kinehurst. Its recipe is a secret closely guarded by the line of nobles imitating the castle. It's a numbing mist, means you can't heal within there. Blood hunters of Kinehurst, not going into that now. Kinehurst is a place. It's a very secretive and exclusive place. Blood hunters, I guess they're hunters that hunt blood. The recipe is closed off. What this guy was doing with the numbing mist is something we'll delve into later. The actual reason why I climbed... What? What are you doing? The reason why I climbed here... Is she gonna try and attack me again? Why I climbed up here is that sometimes you have a lady... What? Is she trying to fight over there? Uh-oh. Let's watch her. Hope we can see her. There she goes. Is she just going back around? Anyway. There is what's called a sinister bell woman here, or a sinister woman bell. Sinister bell woman. And what she does is she rings a bell that summons more enemies and more difficult enemies to fight here. And so she's working against me with a bell. Henriette, let's go fight a little more. I want to talk about your weapons. Pop some health. And alright, now we can take a closer look at them. If you see her sword, it's got a specific shape to it, and so she stabs her sword into this large hammer thing, as we saw earlier, and she's able to use it not just as a sword, but as a, what would you call that, like a great hammer of sorts. And she's got a pistol and lets off quite a bit of damage, but she seems to have gone with a torch in this case. Let's watch her fight a little bit more. Pop one of these. See what this item is. Thick cold blood. We won't go into that yet. Some guys for us to fight. Henriette. We're here to watch you fight. Come on. Do it. Henriette, you're not gonna let them do that to you? Nice stabsies. Let's see you use the hammer, yeah? There we go. It's a heavy fucker. Ooh, it's close. Well done. We're going to go ahead and summon Father Gascoigne now. Or as I like to call him, Petrol Fair. We ring in the old hunter bell. Anytime he wants to show up, that'd be great. Oh, there he is. Just kind of dropped out of nowhere. He's a mean looking fucker. So he's got some axe and looks like a blunderbuss, just like what I've got. Dawn by the bell's timber, the bell ringing woman has appeared somewhere. So this is where we have to find a woman that rings a sinister bell. I have no idea where I'm going to find her, but I hope she does not interrupt our boss fight, because that's where we're headed. So remember that bridge that we found in that note, or that they discussed? This is it. That is supposed to let us go to find the healing church. It's a pretty nice site. I think that's a cathedral of sorts. And we're going to meet what I believe to be Henriette. There she is. I just got some insight from that. Oh, by the way, it costs insight to use any bell. Come on, Gascoigne, get up in there. Oh, something that I found very interesting is Sinclair of Sinclair lore. If you don't know who she is, you should familiarize yourself with her. Oh no, this can't be good. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Actually, just going to focus to kill this guy. Take a good look at him. Looks like a wolf of sorts with horns. Alright, he's not doing so hot. Let's help him out. Uh-oh. Fucking hell. Alright, let me run away. Ah, for fuck's sake. Stop it. Alright, not doing that. Come on. Fuck! Die! Stop it! Great, that's a waste. Are those doing anything to me? No. Alright. I believe in me. Fuck. Look, just don't pick me up again. Ah! No, no! Fuck! Ooh. Never have enough stamina for this shit. You dead. Alright, so that also gave me more insight, and we heard the little whisperings of insight from when I took that, or the same as when I took that Madman's Knowledge item. So this is supposed to be... Well, first of all, let's hit this lamp here, why not? Should beckon some messengers, and I put a little top hat on my messengers. So this will allow me to go back to the Hunter's stream if I want to. So this bridge is the one that I'm told would take me towards the Healing Church. I can't open this, and that note said nothing here. I can't open this, does nothing. I can hear the bell though. Nothing but respect here, don't give up. So it seems as though this will not be the way to get closer to the Healing Church to inquire about the pale blood that I was seeking. Let's go back to... I want to go back to the other lamp in Central Yarnum because I want to talk about what we just saw. And by that I mean the boss. So the boss, the Cleric Beast, I think is Henriette, because she drops an item when you kill her, and it's the what was it called? Where'd it go? The Sword Hunter Badge. So the beast we just fought is a Wendigo. A Wendigo is from Algonquian folklore, and it's supposed to be a wolf thing with antlers, just like we saw that the Cleric Beast was. And according to these people, whomever created the Wendigo, is humans turn into Wendigos either when they've resorted to cannibalism, or they wake up from a nightmare or some dream that turns them evil, and they wake up as a Wendigo. But it used to be that they were people. You notice how we hear music in here. We don't hear music when we're walking around Yharnam. What I was going to say earlier is that Sinclair, from Sinclair Lore, and if you don't know whom she is, she makes excellent content, and I follow her, and I've known her, or been following her and talking to her since she started creating content for YouTube. Very cool girl. She's very sharp and she's very knowledgeable, but more importantly, she seems to employ or befriend JSF, Jerks Sans Frontières, and that man, he gives me chub. The things he talks about gives me chub. But what she was saying is that it's possible that the music we hear during boss fights, and probably even here, is actually the utterings of something we don't understand, like a greater power. She went into more specifics in that regard as to why we hear music and the greater power, but I won't go into whom she thinks is playing the music for us, you know, or being a DJ, or however it is that they're transmitting that music to us. But she thinks that it's possible that it might be that they're cheering us on. So check this out, though. Oh, she's napping. Wake up. Okay, we won't wake her up. Remember how I talked about how reawakening onto anywhere will reset the map as if it were just a dream up until that point where I died, or up until the point where I transported back to the hunter's dream. All the enemies will be all in the same place, and I'm going to demonstrate that by showing that I'm back in central Yharnam, back where we fought the Cleric beast, but these guys are back here. Why is everyone reset except for the Cleric beast? I think, and I can only assume, that it has to do with the fact that it is an actual prey of mine. What does prey indicate? I'm not sure yet. Now, the Sword Hunter badge allows us to go into these Bath Messengers. You see how there's a ton of them here? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So count 10. Maybe there's more than that. But they're all holding something or another. I don't see one that's holding the Hunter Sword badge that looks like this. But remember that? It kind of looks like the shape of her sword, or the shape of like the hilt of her sword. Let's check this out. One of the badges crafted by the Healing Church. The silver sword is a symbol of a church hunter. Ludwig was one of the first of many Healing Church hunters to come, many of whom were clerics, as it was clerics that transformed into the most hideous beasts. I'm not sure if I went into this, but it is supposed to be that the closer you are to the Healing Church, or in this case, it was the clerics that transformed into the most hideous beasts. The closer you are to the Healing Church, the more gruesome you became if you ever turned into a beast of any way. In any case, having this Sword Hunter badge allows the purchase of... So now we can purchase the Kirkhammer now that we've presented the Bath people, the Bath Messengers. Let's go ahead and buy it. Well, actually, before we buy it, we might not need to buy it. A trick weapon typically used by Healing Church hunters. On the one side, an easily handled silver sword. On the other, a giant, obtuse stone weapon characterized by a blunt strike and extreme force of impact. The church takes a heavy-handed, merciless stance toward the plague of beasts, an irony not lost upon the wielders of this most symbolic weapon. And it also allows us to buy the repeating pistol, which is the pistol that Henriette uses. Repeating pistol typically used by healing church hunters, which she was. Crafted with mostly metal parts and exhibiting a complex design. The repeating pistol fires 2 shots at once, making it a ravenous consumer of quicksilver bullets. Should be used sparingly compared to its workshop counterpart, as the trump card in one's arsenal. So yeah, these are the weapons that Henriette uses. Is Henriette the cleric beast, or did Henriette turn into the cleric beast? That is not confirmed in any way, shape, or form, but that is what I like to believe.